All we're waiting for now is the official word. It's been widely reported and tweeted that Scott Shafer will be the next head football coach of Syracuse University. Now, if you're unfamiliar with Shafer, here's what you need to know. He's been Syracuse's defensive coordinator for the past 4 seasons, calling all of the shots for all of the defensive schemes, deciding who's going to play where. He held that position at other big schools like Stanford and Michigan before he was at SU. He was also a quarterback in college at Ohio, and he's said to have the best arm on the coaching staff, by the way. And the defense has been a force to be reckoned with under his watch at Syracuse. Somebody who can attest to all those facts, including that he has the best arm in the coaching staff, is one of his former assistants, Dan Conley. You were the linebackers coach at SU from 2009 to 2011, also a star linebacker for the Orange in the 90s. Thanks so much for joining us.
Appreciate you having me back. One of the fun parts of practice is watching Ryan Nassib and Scott Shafer try to knock paper cups off the goalpost.
That's impressive. Paper cups off the goalpost.
I'm telling you, he can lace it now. He's got a cannon, and it's as tight gets when he throws
awesome.
it. So Scott Shafer, I've been in the coaching profession, was in the coaching profession for 15 years. One of the great men I'd met, not only as a football coach but as a person. Loves his family, his wife and his kids. I mean, he's got Wolf and Elsa, two kids over at the FM school district. Unbelievable guy, and as passionate as a football coach is I think you'll run into, and you're going to see that. When the first time you go to a practice or see him in a game. One
of the things that everybody's talking about with this hire is the continuity that Shafer brings to staying with the program. Can you speak to that aspect?
Yeah, I think first starting with the staff. I'm not speaking for Scott, but I know that he's got great relationships with those guys on the staff and understands that how important it is, the relationships that the coaches on the team are building with the players, the current players, and the incoming recruits. I think that continuity is going to allow them to kind of catch up after this, after Coach Marone going off to Buffalo, and I think they'll be able to put those pieces back together again.
You know Shafer a lot better than I do, of course, but from the media covering perspective, the one thing I've noticed the most is this guy is so it's genuine, the enthusiasm he has. My brother sits right below the assistant coach's box at the 50, and Shafer's giving him the high five, saying, "Let's go." Talk about what you see about his demeanor, his enthusiasm on game day.
You have, Scott Shafer. He's not going to hide anything. He's got these unbelievable highs of "I love you" and high fiving, and then he's got such high expectations, and when kids don't succeed, he will be all over their butt. And people didn't see that because he was upstairs in the box. But game after game, if something wasn't going right, he and I would exchange pleasantries on the phone. It wasn't a personal thing at all. It was just the intensity that he coaches with, the fire inside. I'm not going to tell you his story, but his dad was a high school football coach, and that's the way he got brought up. And from really early on, he's just that's who he is. He's a great hire for Syracuse.
There you go. Well, Dan, thank you so much for the time. The Associated Press, by the way, reporting that an introductory press conference at SU introducing Shafer as the head coach will be held on Thursday. So certainly as that gets confirmed to us, we'll pass it along to you. But for now, Dan Conley, thanks so much for joining us live in studio. Yeah, that's great. He's one of my favorite players in SU history. But for now, let's send it back to Matt and Megan at the desk.